Yeah, I guess I should, huh? I'm pinching the top of my hand, pinching the skin on the top of my hand just to see how much dehydration I have. I have plenty because it's just bouncing like a rubber band. Yeah. But if it don't and it stands straight up, that person is dehydrated and it's been neglected.
That's interesting. You know, it's amazing the things you can do. And so, Lambert, one of the things, Cannon Lambert, one of the things that people are always concerned because, you know, we want to go through the process. We found out that, you know, our loved one has been neglected and they've been abused, and now we want to go through legal. But a lot of times we're afraid of the finance. We've got to talk about the finances that come associated with that. How does a person do that? If they're a power attorney, can they use some of the finance of the elderly? How do they go about going through the initial stage of filing that complaint financially?
First and foremost, what I would say to you is that there's a distinction that needs to be made. And that distinction is between bringing a case that has to do with a nursing home scenario versus a medical malpractice claim. And the reason that distinction is so important is that, generally speaking, in nursing home instances, lawyers will go and get the records on their own. It's an investment that they'll make and that, generally speaking, the families don't tend to have to make. In medical malpractice claims, that many times is not the situation, okay? However, when it comes to the costs associated with bringing a lawsuit for an elder abuse claim, most of the time those costs are initially bore by the lawyer. We'll front the costs. You take a case like this on a contingency, meaning we don't get paid unless and until we recover on behalf of the injured party. And so it makes certain that we have to try and assess the situation critically to identify whether or not there's something to move forward on. The worst thing in the world you can do, in my mind, is to misrepresent to a family that you see a pathway for success, and then later on you're not able to bring them the hope that they had. Right? That's, so you don't want to do that. You don't want to get people's hopes up. The costs will ultimately, if there is a success, come out of the resolution. Right? Okay, you settle a case or you try a case to verdict, and then the money that the lawyer fronted or paid out of their own pocket at the front end will come back to them, and that's separate than the fee for the work that they do.
Right.
But the family should not feel deterred by virtue of the concern about how much it's going to cost to bring a lawsuit.
Yeah, because, you know, a lot of times people sit and say, I want to do that, and, you know, and you always get secondhand advice that's no good advice a lot of times. Girl, that's going to cost you too much money. You don't want to do that. Y'all ain't got that money. Your mom, and for people to think that way sometimes instead of recognizing that, you know, a lot of places now, they will have that upfront cost, but it is absorbed with the case if you receive, you know, some reward money from that. That's another wrong word that I'm using. It's not reward money, but if you get compensation back, you know, that person doesn't have to worry about the upfront fees. And a lot of times we're so afraid to do something financially or legally because we're concerned about the financial distribution of money up front that we just say, well, you know, we're not going to do anything.
Yeah, this area is not generally addressed by way of a retainer. In fact, if you were to contact a lawyer in this industry and they were to say, I want a retainer, I would tell you, don't walk, run from that person. Okay? And the reason for it is that, you know, listen, you got barnacles out there, unfortunately, and they'll prey, you know, there are people that will prey on you. And you know, a lot of times, you know, lawyers out there, they'll take a case knowing that there's no case, and they're not going to find success, but they'll do quote-unquote work to burn through that retainer, and then you're left with the same outcome that they knew that they were going to end up bringing you anyway. That is no outcome.
Hey, we've got a relationship letter. We want to thank the people for going on to our Facebook and website and sending us in some letters. We actually have a letter that has something pertaining to this that my beautiful wife, Brenda McCain, is going to read for us. Go ahead, baby.
I'm getting all kind of compliments.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not even Valentine's Day.
Hey. Wow. Okay. It says, Dear LST, I am so torn right now. Unfortunately, I am in the process of making a decision that I truly do not want to make. My mother is suffering from late stages of dementia, and I'm not able to care for her on my own. I hear so many horror stories about nursing homes and home care assistance. I don't know where to turn to for help. I have visited some nursing homes, and of course, the face of the company is nice, especially when they are trying to get your money to fill another bed. But I know once I am gone and my mother is left in their facility, it might be a different story. I don't think I can afford in-home care for my mom, and even with this, I have heard countless stories of people setting up cameras to make sure no abuse is taking place. I don't want to entrust my mother with people I don't know that may take advantage of her and make her feel uncomfortable. However, I know something has to be done because I can't handle this by myself. Sincerely, troubled and confused.
Hey, Rena, I'm sorry. Go ahead, baby. Rena, I'm going to let you to talk on that first, but baby, you got something else you want to add?
No, just debunk that myth about home care being
Yes,
expensive.
that's what I was going to say. Rena, talk about that.
There is help for her. They have Department of Aging that her mother will be qualified for probably if she doesn't have more than $17,500 in the bank, $17,000 that is, in the bank. She can get Department of Aging. If her father was a veteran, there's benefits for the spouse. There is long-term insurance. There is Blue Cross Blue Shield long-term insurance. It will cost you less to have your loved one at home than it would be in a facility. And you will know who's in your home. You get the same person. I can guarantee you in a nursing home, you're not going to get the same CNA every day on that unit. At least you can build a relationship with the CNA that's coming in your home. It's more personable when you're at home with taking care of your loved one, because I can guarantee you they may hire staff, they're going to use agency, they have to get somebody in there. Perfect example, holidays come about, everybody calling in. They got to use agency. So now, mom don't know who's coming in undressing her. There goes your dignity. There goes your pride.
Yeah.
Say, I don't like but just soft vegetables. Now, here the CNA is trying to feed me something I don't like. She knows nothing about me. Okay, Ted wants to piggyback. Go ahead, Ted.
The nice thing about a home health care company is that what we do, we make sure we match up the right caregiver with the right family scenario. Yes. So we just don't drop in a caregiver on you without you knowing who that caregiver is. We want to make sure that this caregiver match is a good fit with your mom. Yeah. Second thing is statistics show that home health care is 50% less than having your loved one in a nursing home. So think about that, 50%, 40 to 50% less having your loved one at home versus having them in a nursing home.
Can you tell them how much it costs to have I can't hear words you're saying, baby. Can you tell them how much it costs to have someone in a nursing home a year?
Typically it's about $6,800 a year.
And how much is to have someone at home?
She's so funny. It depends. It depends on what kind of service level you want. I mean, if you want 4 hours a day, 8 hours a day, 24 hours a day, it all depends. But on an average, it's about 40 to 50% less.
Yeah. So, Cannon, talk about that letter that we just talked about. If you need some, the young lady was talking about that. Briefly, just kind of summarize that letter again, baby.
Her mom is troubled and confused. Mom has dementia, and she don't know whether to put her in a nursing home or if she could afford to have home care service.
Yeah, I think that's a really tough issue that a lot of people are faced with. It's a decision that a lot of times people don't want to have to make, but are made to make. You have to be honest with yourself about what your capacity is to render care, because you don't want to be one of the people that either it's intentionally or unintentionally hurting your loved one. But at the same time, I think you have to do what we talked about a little bit before, and that is be aggressive about trying to determine the type of facility you might use if you don't use home health and you're going to use a facility. then you'll notice that I'm talking more about facilities just because that tends to be what my involvement is more. But if you're going to pick a facility, identify some of the things that you can use as tools. Look at what they do and how they do it. Compare them. Look at the surveys. Ask what citations they've had. Talk to the administrator. Go in and visit when they don't expect it. Don't go in just once. Go in 4 or 5 times. Go at different times of the day. Right?
Oh, yes.
That sort of thing. Even before you're actually picking the facility and putting your loved one in will benefit you because it gives you information you otherwise don't have. If you see family members that are in that are visiting others before you pick your selection, ask them, how do you like this facility? Mm-hmm. Listen to me. I look at it this way. I don't need you to tell me the great things about your facility. I want you to tell me the worst.
Tell me
what the problems are, and then I can assess. Whether or not I can deal with it. What your tolerance is might be different than what my tolerance is, right? So it just depends on what's driving you. This issue that she's talking about is real, though. Dementia is scary. It means people don't remember stuff. Right. It means that they can't report to you in terms of what happened to them 30 minutes ago. It means all kinds of things, and you just have to be very aggressive about the way you approach this.
Yeah, Rena, you want to say something else?
I was going to say, too, that there's doors out there that will help pay for home care. There's Department of Aging that's out there that will help pay for home care. There's a lot of different programs out there that will help you with home care. So just do a little research, and you definitely can get some help. And I know I want to bring up where she was saying something about she heard horror stories about people having cameras in their homes. I would definitely encourage that.
Yeah, in a nursing home, too.
I hope you're listening, Miss Troubled and Confused.
I would definitely encourage that because I may do a background check on my CNAs or anybody else's. You don't know what people will do. You don't. So for your comfort, put a camera. I encourage everybody, put a camera in your home. So you'll know. What do they call them? Nanny cam? Yeah. Put them in your home.
But, another issue that came up, and the girl did tell me I could use it, but it was, she said that she preferred to do the facilities because if something go wrong, it's a better track record and you could get quicker and faster legal help. And I want to know if that's the truth or is that just...
That is not true. This is why I pay insurance. Okay? We pay home liability. We could be sued as well. That's why I say put a camera in there. I can only do so much. This is why I have that system in place. Care merge, where my CNAs are charting every 2 hours. They're taking. You can log on your phone and see what's going on in the home because you can do that over the phone now. Okay, so now I'm trying to protect myself as well and your loved one. But I can only do so much from my office. I need you to partner with me to make sure that your loved one get the best care.
Yeah. One of the things I want to say, the great thing about it, and we're going to go to a commercial break in a second, is that we've got some experts on here, and that's one of the reasons why we have them on our show, because this is not one of the issues that we are well-versed on making any decision on. So I'm going to talk from an individual point of view of basically saying that one of the things that I would say that you need to be very concerned about is the desire of the loved one. Where would they want to be at? Do they want to be in that facility? Do they want to be at home? You need to be concerned about that because I know when my mother was in a nursing home, she could not stand being there. She always wanted to come home. And in a lot of cases, that can also affect some of their feelings. We're going to come right back after the commercial break, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more. You're listening to the Let's Stay Together show on UBM. We'll be right back in a few seconds.
Now boarding the McCain Train with Reverend Rick and author Brenda McCain. They're bringing hot and powerful topics regarding relevant issues on marriage, relationships, and life-changing family topics. And they are funny, engaging, energetic, and they bring real talk that reaches beyond the walls of the church. They have been successful because they have discussed topics like, help me, I want to grow old. My addiction